to another gathering of the Gold Key Adventurers Society. Have a seat by the fire as we prepare to help you unlock the secrets of the travel life. From theme park thrills to Purple Mountain's majesty, we want to see it all and do it all, and we want to help you do the same. We all have those bucket list trips, once-in-a-lifetime destinations that we'll get to someday. We're here to help you make your travel dreams a reality. Buy the ticket, take the trip. Where do you want to go?
Come on, now tell me what's on your bucket list. Okay, hey, it's a beautiful day. Okay, hey, it's a beautiful day.
Welcome back to another meeting of the Gold Key Adventurers Society. My name is Dan Leonard.
Hi, Dan.
And joining me this week in the studio is Heather Straight.
Hola.
And Mr. Jeff Williams.
Howdy.
Howdy. Our show, as always, is brought to you by Key to the World Travel. Key to the World Travel is a full-service travel agency specializing in theme parks, cruising, and destinations around the world. Head to www.keytotheworldtravel.com for more details. No obligation quote on the vacation of a lifetime. Last week, we started talking about how to plus your stay at a Walt Disney World resort. Plussing is a term used by Disney to mean that you take something great and you make it even more betterer. This week, we're going to continue that series and up the challenge level a little bit because we're going to take a look at a moderate level resort stay. Talk about ways that you can plus your vacation to make your moderate stay feel a little bit more deluxe. Still staying within that more middle of the road, moderate price range, budget level. So let's start off again like we did last week, talking about hotels. Which deluxe hotels do you think give a more deluxe feel to your stay or a little bit more bang for your buck as far as luxury, amenities, activities, that sort of stuff goes?
I like it, Dan.
I can't think of anything. Good night, everybody.
When it comes to the hotel, actually any kind of plussing a moderate stay, my number one recommendation is stay at Coronado Springs. Specifically, if you can, stay in the Gran Destino Tower, because that tower looks and feels like a deluxe resort, but it's at more moderate
in
pricing.
Spain.
The regular rooms in that resort are fantastic as well.
Those outer buildings are they're obviously a disconnected walk from some of the other stuff in the resort, but they're beautiful, but they're not that far away, like probably a 10-minute at most walk if you're in that back furthest corner.
They're beautiful, and they're actually bigger than the rooms in the tower, even though the rooms in the tower, the bathroom is a little bit more posh and separated a little better from the room because the outer buildings are more of that traditional moderate style that Disney has, where the closet is open to the bathroom. But it has sliding doors to separate the bathroom in those outer rooms as opposed to curtains that the other moderates have. So the finishes just feel a little more deluxe.
And I know they built this one specifically with conventioneers in mind that are used to a nicer digs and less of a Disney family kind of feel. But I love it because I, too, want less of a family kind of feel.
And the theming is a little less in your face out there. The finishes are all really nice with wood and stone and things like that.
This one loves wood.
It's true. It doesn't feel as much like any of the other moderate resorts, really. It really feels like an elevated experience. The whole property is gorgeous. Yeah. And the tower, we've said that before, the tower is like a deluxe resort.
Yeah, you've got the interior doors instead of exterior entry at the kind
That's
of
never
second
bothered
and
me.
third
I
place.
know that does bother some people, that exterior, they call it motel style exterior entrance to your room. That's never
doesn't really bother me either.
It doesn't bother me. I think people just kind of think it gives it a little bit cheaper feel. When you say the word motel, it doesn't exactly.
Yeah. And the one thing is that you are going to have people that will walk directly past your windows as opposed to an interior type setup where if you're on a higher floor, there's not going to be people standing right outside your windows unless you're on the ground floor, that kind of bothers me sometimes at those resorts because I tend to keep the curtains closed more often and then it's a little darker in the room. but it's not a big deal.
I don't hang out in my room.
I don't spend a lot of time hanging out or outside other people's rooms. So
I do.
I guess
I've been run off of many a moderate resort for that.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
What is your other favorite? Moderates.
I was going to say the second place in my mind is probably Port Orleans French Quarter. As far as the feel, the grounds are beautiful. You do get a little cartoony there around the pool, but it's not like a All-Star or Pop Century resort.
Cute. I just stayed there for the first time last summer.
And it's small.
Yeah, exactly. It's small. The farthest room is a 5-minute walk away. So a lot of the rooms are much closer than that. So you're going to get straight to the lobby area. The one problem is they don't have a table service restaurant there.
Yeah, you have to walk over to Riverside for that.
Yeah.
You know, that food court there, though, is awesome.
It's very nice.
Really good food. A lot of, obviously, New Orleans food. And then they have the beignet place next door that is yummy.
And they have that sort of hidden little lounge for nighttime hangout.
Yeah,
which is
Fat
great.
Cats.
Yeah, it's kind of back behind the beignet place.
It's good.
And they often, pre-COVID more often, but it's coming back slowly. They often have live music in there. Mm-hmm. It's not as many nights as pre-COVID, but I think they're getting back to the more regular performances.
Jazz band of some sort playing in there on a small stage, like a 3-piece combo or something, not overly loud or whatever, and not as look at me like Yeehaw Bob over at the place next door.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get kind of the beautiful grounds, that kind of romantic old New Orleans, Nolans feel the resort. I mean, parts of Riverside are just as nice. Those mansions are kind of.
It is really pretty. The grounds
I love the grounds and everything at Riverside. I don't care for the rooms that have like washboards and all that.
Does that offend you? The Southern hokum. It should.
Yeah, but you like hokum.
I like hokum, but I don't want to sleep in a Cracker Barrel.
That's fair. One nice thing about them is they have been refurbished recently, so they're in a little better condition than they used to be.
Yes.
It's about time for them to refurbish the princess rooms. The royal rooms, They're starting to be a little bit run down, but they've redone the other mansion rooms and the Alligator Bayou.
Their feature pool and restaurant and bar at the pool and all that is excellent there. That's feels more like a deluxe resort pool
and
area.
It's very shady, which is nice in the hot Florida sunshine.
I love the grounds of both of those with the live oaks, with the moss hanging off and everything. It's very authentically Louisiana.
Caribbean Beach was never my favorite moderate, but I think it deserves a mention now, specifically because they have refurbished all the rooms, which is great. They did recently take out the pirate rooms and freshen up all of those spaces. But the rooms, there are several buildings that are right next to the Skyliner and really close to Riviera. So you could stay in the Caribbean Beach. And if you requested a room really anywhere in Barbados in that section, but buildings 14, 15, and 16 are smack next to the Skyliner. So you've got a 2-minute walk to the Skyliner.
And that's the Riviera Skyliner, right?
Yes, the Riviera
they also
Skyliner.
Have on the other far end, their own station. So there's not really a terrible spot.
I mentioned Barbados because then you're a quick walk into Riviera to use any of the amenities. You can't use the pool, but you could go in and use the restaurants and bars. No,
make friends with somebody.
You'd have to make friends with someone to let you in with their magic band.
Yeah.
But you can use the quick service there. Primo Piatta is delightful, really great. They have a good coffee shop in the lobby, and then their Bar Riva, their pool bar, is excellent. You could visit that.
The bar over there at Caribbean's pretty nice too. The banana
actually
hammock.
Is yes, Banana Cabana.
Oh yeah, that's it. And what's the table service right next to Banana Cabana? That's a good spot too. Can't think of the name
Sebastian's.
of that place. Yeah, that's really good.
It's really pretty too. It's a very nice table service. And their whole feature pool area is great. It's a really nice feature pool.
That's the one that's like the dig site.
No, it's like
that's at Coronado.
pirate ship.
Yeah.
and a castle. I think Dig Site
I've never seen it.
Is over
Cornwall.
I
think that's the only moderate I have not stayed at is Caribbean Beach, but I've walked around there and eaten in the restaurant and seen the lobby. It's pretty.
It's a huge, huge resort. You have to be kind of selective about your room. If you plus your stay by getting a preferred room, you'll be closer to the main amenities and not have as far a walk. And that's a great, actually, something we should mention with any of the moderates is going with a preferred room. It's a little bit more money, but you get closer to the amenities.
Amount of difference in money, though.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not awful. It's maybe $30, $50.
And then you're closer to the buses to get to the theme parks, and you're closer to the main
and most of
dining halls.
Moderates, if not all of them, I can't think right now, have an internal bus loop. So when you get to them, even though they're huge, when you're coming back from a long day at the parks, you do not have to pull into the main lobby and walk 100 miles to your room. You
That's true.
Go to the bus loop that's closest to your building. I like that.
And that's why I'd say the preferred rooms are more important at a moderate stay than at
for sure.
value resorts that have them. I hear people make a big deal about getting a preferred room at Pop Century.
They're louder.
And the farthest room at Pop Century is not that far out from everything, but at Caribbean Beach, you're really going to want to be
definitely.
They look like, if you were looking at a map of the value properties, it looks like it's very far, but the way the path goes, you're going diagonally, not having to go around everything. So nothing's very far at those.
Exactly. So it's definitely worth the upgrade to a preferred room at the moderates, in my mind.
Yeah, because if you want to pop out for some coffee, you better pack a lunch because it's going to be a long walk.
Yeah. Bring a thermos.
Fort Wilderness cabins, I think, technically fall in the moderate category. They're going to be a little bit more expensive than a regular room at one of the other moderates, but I think they're worth a mention because the cabins are very nice. They have a lot of space and a full kitchen. And then you're right there to take the boat over to the Wilderness Lodge. Again, one of my tips for plussing moderate is using the amenities out of Deluxe resort.
Stay near Deluxe.
But if you like that kind of atmosphere, Fort Wilderness is a really great option, especially for a little bit larger family. I think those cabins sleep six.
They sleep six. Yeah. That's one of the rare places you can get six into a room without having to have a really expensive suite or do two adjoining.
And they're
if
really
I was
nice.
going to stay at Fort Wilderness, it would be at a cabin.
For sure. And you can plus the cabins by renting a golf cart for the week. And kids always love tooling around in a golf cart. And then you have to walk.
This guy.
You have to walk a little bit less to get to the amenities. And some of the cabins are pretty close to the main area there with the Trails End, although they're closing Trails End, which I just learned recently, and that's kind of sad. But they still have some great stuff up there at the trading outpost. I forget what it's called.
If the wind is blowing just right, you can get that smacked in the face with the smell of manure when you step out of your cabin.
That is true.
From that Tri-Circle D.
Yeah. It's a pretty resort, though. It's the grounds are beautiful, and Tri-Circle D, you can add some activities on, like horseback riding, things like that. True. Yeah.
I've never been out there even to eat at one of the restaurants or anything. I'd like to stay there. And honestly, I want to give a tent stay a try.
Hey, I'm willing to support that, Dan. I think you should do it.
I'd love to watch a video about you doing it.
Yeah.
I mean,
you should take a boys' trip with just you and Wyatt, or you and Wyatt and Alex, and tent camp and document that.
Yeah.
You look skeptical. Can you get some scouting points for that?
I could probably.
Yeah. The Walt Disney World camping badge.
Yeah. He has to camp a certain number of nights to get one of the ranks. So
Perfect.
We'll work it out that way.
Well, if you're staying at one of these resorts, what else can we do to plus that vacation up?
There's always activities at all the resorts, kind of like we talked about last time. There's generally some sort of arts and crafts that they're going to offer, I believe.
Yeah, I think one of them will overlap. We talked about the crafts a little bit, and Coronado Springs has one. That's a really cute mosaic tile craft, and it's not expensive.
No, it's like $35.
$35. That's not bad at all.
It's a painted tile.
You do either a Mickey head or a Minnie Mouse head,
Mm-hmm.
right? You kind of put the mosaic tiles in there.
I have not done any of these. Heather's done a couple of these kinds of things
I love
at other
crafts.
resorts.
Yeah, if you're at Caribbean Beach, you can walk over to Riviera, and they have a ton there because it's a DVC resort. They have, what do they call it? The community hall, something like that. But that one, they have more than one craft. You can paint wine glasses. They do a couple times a week. They do a painted canvas that what you're painting rotates. They have a whole, as you walk into the community hall, there's a whole display of all the crafts you can do there. And it's a lot of them. And most of them range anywhere from as low as like $5 to $10 up to, I think the painting craft I did was $40. And it included snacks and a drink while we were painting, which was cool.
Coronado has the mosaic and a regular canvas painting class that they do there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen the canvas painting class.
Yeah, they do both of those. Colors of Coronado.
I think that's the colors of Coronado.
Aha.
Yep.
What are you? Does it tell you what you're painting? Is it like a?
Looks like they had, when I looked it up earlier, it looked like they had a selection of different things they rotate through.
And then they have an instructor, like all these painting classes, who teaches you step by step how to do the painting, which is cool.
Yeah, it's like one of those sip wine and do your thing. Like
what we did at Riviera was a painting of Orange Bird. It was very cute.
Yeah. The example on the Coronado is Lady and the Tramp watching the moon.
Oh, cute.
After their dinner date. So that's fun. Caribbean Beach, you can also rent the Surrey bikes that are also popular at Port Orleans.
Yes.
And Boardwalk.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I didn't know that they had them there at Boardwalk.
You got to be careful when you're walking all around Yacht Beach and Boardwalk. You might get run over.
Yeah. Family of drunk people riding a 6-person bike into you.
Have they brought back, since COVID, have they brought back the carriage rides at Riverside?
Mm-hmm.
Those are super cute.
Yes. Yeah. You can do a horse-drawn carriage ride through the rural south there at Riverside. You board the carriage right there behind the lobby near where the boat docks to take you to Disney Springs. So that's available there. And also there's fishing spots both at
That's right.
Caribbean
they have that
and
cane pole fishing hole stuff.
Yep. You can do that at Caribbean Springs and at the main places. Riverside, they have fishing dock there, Old Man River, and you can go fishing. And I think that's a small fee, or maybe I don't think it's free.
It's not free, but it's not very expensive. Just a small fee to use their equipment, which is basically a fishing pole that looks like a stick.
I should have done that one. Why it was little.
Yeah. And something we should probably mention while we're talking about activities that we didn't bring up last time is the fact that you can check at your hotel in the lobby. They'll have a board with a schedule of all of these activities and also the things that you can pay to do, like the carriage rides and stuff. Or they're also, sometimes they have on a paper sheet that you can take and it'll show you what's going on, because there's all kinds of other free things like movies under the stars or movies at the
they always have those movies, and those are great. Kids out there watching whatever movie on a big screen while the parents can hit up the bar that's nearby or whatever.
Quite a few of them have s'mores. They have a fire pit, and you can go make
a couple
s'mores.
of nights a week. They do that.
They have that at Coronado out by the pool. They do have big fire pits for doing s'mores.
Quite a few of them, a couple of times a week, will have tie-dye at the pool. You make a Mickey tie-dye. That's a small charge for that because you're paying for the T-shirt, really.
Right.
We've done that a few times. They teach you how to tie-dye, and then you can, if you do it right, you end up with a Mickey head in the middle of the shirt. If you can get it tied just right.
If you can't,
it's just a beautiful tie-dye shirt.
It's hard to mess up a tie-dye, though, because either way, they look pretty cool.
Yeah. So these are all ways that they might not be the big standing in front of the castle things. Let's go make a big memory, but there are ways that you can add on to your resort stay that just kind of give you things to remember from your vacation. There are ways to do more than just sit at the pool at your resort. Let's see.
But you can still do that if you want.
Just sit at the pool. Yes, absolutely.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Are there any, and I'm thinking specifically outside of the theme parks at resorts or Disney Springs, restaurants that you might recommend that are kind of more, they're not the top high-end signature restaurants, but they might fit a moderate budget, but still kind of feel a little bit plussed, a little bit more posh or fancy or fine dining.
I think Homecoming is a good one for that. It's good, excellent,
Springs?
high quality food, but it's not really expensive. I think most of the things at Disney Springs are not terribly expensive.
So much at Disney Springs.
There's a great variety of stuff there.
Morimoto Asia is my favorite restaurant. It's a little bit pricier, but they also have the little outdoor Asian street food, which is just as delicious and less expensive.
And many of the same items, just served in a less posh way. But even the inside of that is not horribly
too bad.
expensive.
I think you can still get those amazing spare ribs at the walk-up window outside.
They have a rib there that just makes you want to live there and eat nothing but that.
It's so delicious.
Yeah, you can head on over to Disney Springs, and most of those restaurants, like you said, they're not going to break the bank. They're delicious food, and a good chunk of them have a celebrity chef name on it. The restaurant was a concept that comes up from people that you've seen on MasterChef or.
Jaleo is one of my favorites. That's a Jose Andres. If you like tapas and Spanish food, it's delicious.
Yeah, because it's tapas pricing, you could spend a lot or you can spend a little. They have a whole tour of Spain kind of thing you can do. It's like Chef's Choice where they bring out course after course. And that, of course, is on the high end of things. But if you just split a few tapas between people, two people could eat there for $100 or less for sure and have a fine meal.
I haven't been to Wolfgang Puck's new location in Disney Springs. I had been to the old one, but I've heard good things. And most of his restaurants get pretty good reviews. So
apparently he can cook, I guess.
Yeah, I guess he really can. I liked his old restaurant that was there. I can't remember why it left, but it
became Jaleo, right?
Yeah, they tore it down and now that's where Jaleo is. And now Wolfgang Puck's Grill is
it's over by Guy
Coke.
Fieri's place.
His fine dining establishment.
Yes.
Yeah, the chicken guy.
He's going to bring 20 of those to Michigan. I'm really excited.
Yay.
Hey, I hear they're great.
I have heard they're good. I haven't tried it yet.
And I do love a chicken finger.
Yeah. There's two worth mentioning at Coronado that we've talked before about Toledo and Dahlia, which are more high end and delicious. But the Three Bridges Bar and Grill out on the little island in the middle of the lake, very good. It's beautiful. It's not as expensive because it's more of a tapas style. That's also where you can do Sangria University, as our graduate Jeff has told us about before. Yeah. And I love the Sangria flight you can order there. It's so good.
And you can get pictures too.
But Maya Grill, Maya Grill is inside, and it's a wonderful restaurant, but it's not as expensive as Toledo upstairs. Maya has been there since before the Grandestino Tower. It's over near the food court.
Yeah, and speaking of affordable, in there is Rick's Sports Cafe.
I love
that
Rick's.
That place is awesome. They have kind of elevated pub food, I would call it, but I don't know how elevated. Actually, they have one of our favorite things there is Huachos, which is tachos. That's it. It's
Huachos because it's waffle
fry nachos there. Yeah. That thing is awesome.
I like a good waffle fry nacho.
Yeah, and you can choose your meat, which is also very nice. You can, I think,
they bring it right out to your table.
Yes,
but even if you don't like sports or whatever, there's tons of TVs around. But if you're not in, it's not rowdy in there or anything, and
usually not busy.
Great bar, nice vibe. You can always get in there, and it's air conditioned.
Yes, that's one of the reasons we love it.
That's one of my favorites.
I like Whispering Canyon this is an ad. It is at a Deluxe restaurant, so it's my add-on where if you're staying at Fort Wilderness, it's easy to get over to Whispering Canyon and eat there. If that's more of food is great, but it's also a bit of an experience because the waiters get in on it.
The sort of show elements. For a while, people had gotten annoyed. They didn't like the fun times that the servers were providing, so they had toned it down. But then everybody complained that there wasn't that. So now they're They're right back there where the waiters kind of mess with you and all that. You can choose. So it used to be basically only family style dining, but now you can order a la carte or do these family style skillets.
It's a great restaurant. Then my other one would fall in both dining and activities, because at Fort Wilderness, not to be missed is Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. It's so fantastic.
Real pluser. That's a great
real
time.
Pluser. It's a little bit more than a meal because it's a full, really good show. I mean, it's so much fun. And it took us a little while before we went and tried it out because we weren't sure it would be.
I was hesitant. I admit it.
So fun. So much fun. And the food is fantastic. It's kind
like
of sad,
an old-time cabaret, vaudeville, saloon show kind of a thing.
And it's kind of sad they're getting rid of the Trail's End buffet. That was an excellent, kind of a hidden gem. And you could get all the food that they serve at Hoop-Dee-Doo over at Trail's End, but it's closing, sadly. But they bring out just buckets of fried chicken, and it's a ton of food.
And all you can eat.
Really worth the
another
price.
Bucket, you can get another bucket.
And then the entertainment. It's just the actors are excellent. The cast there has been performing that for a really long time, and they're so good at it. It's just so much fun. It's really worth, even if you're not staying at a moderate, I would recommend it as something to do wherever you're staying on property.
It's kind of a spiritual successor to Golden Horseshoe at Disney.
Yes, absolutely.
One of Walt's favorite things.
And now that we don't have, it's really kind of the last of its thing now at Walt Disney World, since they closed the luau to build the DVC tower.
No more luau, no more Mickey's Backyard Barbecue show.
Barbecue was excellent.
Yeah, I forgot that was even a thing.
I really wish they would bring that back. They absolutely could. It's at Fort Wilderness. The spot is still there. They got rid of it
because that's where they were going to build the new hotel that they're now not going to build. But I don't know if they tore down the little amphitheater where they did that show.
I'm not sure how far along in the process they got for building. Now it's leaving my head. What were they? The dumb name they were. Reflections. There it is.
Reflections: a Disney
Lakeside Lodge.
Lakeside, yes.
Which you already have a Disney Lakeside Lodge. It's called the Wilderness Lodge. But I digress.
Yeah.
One of the more affordable but really good and tons of food meals at Disney Springs is it's a newer Italian place. The name is escaping me, Heather. You'll know it's like
Terralina.
Oh, yeah. That place is good. It's good quality food, and it's a ton of it. You could split any entree there, and like 4 people could eat 2 entrees and come out of there stuffed. And you can almost always get a reservation.
Oh, yeah, always.
Families on a budget, I would highly recommend that.
We touched on it a little bit earlier, and that's the table service at Caribbean Beach. Sebastian's is very good. It's Caribbean.
I never knew that existed until we had reservations with a big group. And it was great.
Yeah. It's called Sebastian's, and ironically, my favorite item on the menu is the crab cakes.
Yeah, and there's pictures of Sebastian around in there. You feel kind of bad because you're eating either him or his cousins. But
yes, but he's so tasty.
Go on and eat the crab.
Yeah, it's a really pretty restaurant. It used to be something else, and I cannot remember what that restaurant used to be when it was before they did the whole big redo of Caribbean Beach's lobby, which is gorgeous. That when they completely gutted it, and the lobby is kind of spectacular now.
I don't
forget what it used to be. Yeah, there used to be a table service there. I don't remember what it was, but now it's Sebastian's, and it sits right there on the water. It's an easy walk from Riviera if you're staying over at Riviera.
While you wait for your table, there's the Banana Cabana right outside, which is a fun outdoor Caribbean bar with all the usual resort drink type of coconutty, frothy yummies.
Tropical beverages.
Yes.
Who doesn't like one of those?
Yeah.
Nobody I know.
That's right.
I don't think they have brought back the little tiny speedboats at any of the moderates yet, have they? Have they even brought it back at the Deluxe Resort
I feel like certainly some kid died on one.
I don't know. Those were a great way to plus your vacation.
Yeah,
we did that several times.
Did.
And it was COVID that got rid of them, and they just haven't brought that back. They've brought back the pontoon boats that you can rent, but they haven't brought those back.
Those other boats are a little on the pricier side.
And they are, yes.
But the little, whatever they call them now, water sprites. Or
they were called,
water mice.
They were water mice at first, and then they had just been calling them sea racers, which was the brand of the little boat.
That's right. Yeah, those were a good price. They're like $35 for
half an hour. It was $30. You could take it out for half an hour, and it was so fun. You only had to be 12 to pilot your own. Yeah.
Mentally.
That was where we learned that my youngest son is a bit of a daredevil. I could not believe the moves he was pulling in his little speedboat when we did that for the first time.
And that's why they don't do it anymore.
Maybe
Owen straight.
Yeah. It was all the way up to the pandemic. So they still had them as recently as 2020. Maybe it's a staffing thing. I don't know. They did get the company that ran all of that used to also do things like parasailing over Bay Lake, and they had gotten rid of that pre-pandemic, but you could still do all the boats.
Yeah, it's interesting. They only list the pontoons as being available for rent on Disney's website, but the picture that they use for it shows the sea racers in the background. So I don't know if they still have them or they just haven't updated their photos.
Fingers crossed. Maybe they'll come back.
I sure haven't seen them parked anywhere.
No.
At Fort Wilderness, you can also rent canoes and kayaks.
That's a fun thing. And horseback riding. We talked about that briefly a little bit earlier at Tri-Circle D. You can go horseback riding.
When we were Deluxe no money concerns plussing it last time, we talked about doing a VIP tour, but there's a ton of other types of smaller tours and experiences you can do that are a lot less expensive. One of them, Dan, I think you did this. Didn't you and Kendra do the capture your moments photography session?
Those are a great value for what you get. They have them at all three of the 4 parks. I don't think they have them at Animal Kingdom. I could be wrong.
Huh. They should. I'll talk to Bob.
They should. I'll look it up. I haven't paid that much attention since we did ours.
Yeah, they started out.
They started out. They only had them at Magic Kingdom and Epcot, and I know for a fact that they added Hollywood Studios. I just haven't looked up to see if they have them at Animal Kingdom. But they're about $100. You get a half-hour photo shoot session. If it's at Magic Kingdom, they do at various locations around Cinderella Castle. At Epcot, it's in World Showcase, and you have the option of either going to Italy and Germany, or you can go Japan and America, I think it is. And they do a very, very nice professional photo shoot. They'll tailor it to whatever you want the occasion to be. I've seen graduation pictures from that are really great. Anniversary pictures, or just couples pictures, family pictures. Engagement photos. If you just want a really nice family portrait, they'll do those, and they do an amazing job. It doesn't sound like a lot of time, but really we got at least 60 very high quality photos out of it.
They do a great job. Huge amount of quality photos for that price for a family on a budget.
And the amazing thing is they're really good they know the good spots around these areas to take photos from, but they're also really good at finding the angle that they minimize the amount of people in the background. So it kind of looks like you're alone on a private photo shoot. And also they do a really great job of helping you pose, which is really
Dan really
needs. People if you're not experienced. So they do a really good job of making sure that your photos turn out really high quality. There's some other tours around, especially Epcot. I know we've talked about, Jeff has done, and I've always wanted to do. You can head over to Living with the Land.
Yeah, Behind the Seeds.
Yes, the Behind the Seeds tour.
That's really affordable, right? In the $30 range?
$30 to $35, I believe it is.
Yeah. It's about an hour, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you go back into the whole greenhouse area that the boat goes through, and you get to walk through there and see all the things and how they do them, and go. There's a lot of behind literally the seeds parts of that are just awesome. You go in these greenhouse areas where they're using different lighting and warmth and stuff to seed these things, and hydroponic, and they've got a fish farm in there that smells awful, but it looks cool and it's interesting. I loved it. I would do it again. I think I've done it twice, but I would definitely do it again.
Did you get to go into that laboratory area where they're doing the experiments for the...
They're creating a fungi that surely nothing will go wrong with that. It's something to do with mushroom faces.
Yeah. The cool thing about that place is...
Now I'm worried.
Yeah.
Did you see Pedro Pascal anywhere in there?
Yeah, it was Pascal. The lizard was in there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, we all know they use all those fruits and vegetables and herbs at various restaurants around the park.
Yeah.
So that's really neat to see where that came from. Any other kind of tours or special?
There's the Caring for Giants one at Animal Kingdom is only $35, and it's kind of a walking behind the scenes tour of the elephant enclosures there, and you get to see and even participate in how they're fed and taken care of and all that for $35 a person. That seems like a heck of a deal. I'd really like to do that one. I love elephants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one looks cool. They have a similar one for the rhinos or hippos?
Yes.
I didn't know they had that.
Yeah.
Hippos freak me out. I don't know why. They seem like they'd be slow and dumb, but instead they're incredibly fast and dangerous. I'm sure they're not going to just take off running after you, but I don't know.
Right. I would hope.
Fun side story. My grandmother was at the Birmingham Zoo when she was a young lady, and back then on a Sunday after church, everybody would be in their finery and go to the zoo and have picnics and whatnot. And she was near the rhino enclosure. And I'm not sure if you know this, but when they poop, their tail spins and acts like a fan to blow the poop away from them in a fine poo mist. And my grandmother was wearing a white church dress and got totally covered. So that's part of my, I don't love a hippo.
You know why they do that?
No? Is that how they propel themselves in the water?
No, but when they're in the water, that helps prevent leeches from crawling up their butt while they're pooping.
Oh, fun.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for that.
We had an encounter like that. A grandmother at our zoo got poop thrown at her by a chimpanzee years ago. They had to install taller plexiglass on the enclosure. I don't think there's really there's not a lot of tour experiences like that at Magic Kingdom.
The Keys to the Kingdom tour is a good one, and it's not nearly the price of a VIP private tour, but it is an excellent tour. I believe we talked about on the last thing, but I've done that a few times, and I would do it anytime anybody wanted to do it.
It's about $110, $115 a person, but it's a 5-hour tour.
Splurgy, but it's a long, once in a lifetime kind
and
of cool
includes
tour.
lunch. It includes a meal.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be 16 to do that one, but it's
or older.
Or older, yes. Minimum age is 16. Because one of the things you do is go backstage and down into the utilidors, so they don't want to ruin the magic for anyone younger. It's part of it. They probably also think that anyone younger may not last on a 5-hour walking tour.
Of the garbage removal system under the park.
Yeah.
But it's all really interesting. And of course, they use their best VIP tour guides that know all the ins and outs and really know how to work a story and work with the people. And they make it a ton of fun. I would highly recommend that.
You could always try your luck at getting a reservation at the Harmony Barber Shop, either for your child's first haircut or for an adult
your
haircut.
First haircut. If Crystal Gale wants to go get her first haircut down there, she can. Also, an after-hours party at one of the parks is a good way to splurge on something, perhaps on a day that you weren't going to go to a park or whatever. Those are $100+ too, but they're a really good. It feels special to be in these parks. It's not something you could probably afford to do all the time necessarily, but a great splurge if you stay moderate, and then you can do more fun extra things.
And you could eat $100 worth of popcorn and ice cream bars.
Yes.
Bottled soda. Yeah.
Bottled sodas.
Yeah. And that's, like you said, that's a day. Take a day that's going to be your rest day so that you don't have to buy a park ticket that day. Buy your event admission, and that gets you into the park later in the evening. So that's definitely a way that you're not spending a ton. Or
and
at
if
least
you're
a ton more than you would have.
During the 9 to 10 months of the year that there's a festival going on at Epcot, they offer all sorts
Which
of
should be 12
seminars and tastings and classes and cooking classes and all kinds of things
cool
that
stuff.
are. Some are adults only. Many of them are family. Everybody. There's art seminars and all, really kind of anything you'd want to do, or tastings or meals or whatever. Those range anywhere from $35 to as much really as you'd want to spend. But there's tons of different variety for stuff like that. If you're looking for a special, once in a lifetime, different thing to do other than walking through the parks.
Yeah, and those are things that they don't always do a super great job of advertising.
Agree.
There's a lot available.
I always hear about them after someone did it. Like, what is that? I've never heard of that. And like, we talk about Disney for a living and this stuff all the time.
Right, yeah. A popular one. I assume it's back this year since they're doing Flower Garden right now. Popular is that make your own topiary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I've always wanted to do that, but couldn't figure out how to get it home.
Yeah, I think that was going to get shipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of big.
Yeah, they're not tiny. They're a few feet tall, and you can make your topiary just like the garden masters there at Epcot. But the best way to find out about all of those kinds of experiences at a festival, other ways that you can plus your stay at a moderate resort or a deluxe resort or a value resort, I'll be talking to your Key to the World travel advisor.
It's true.
Yes,
That's right. And I'm going to say thanks for hanging out with us again this week. If you're excited to plus your stay at a Walt Disney World moderate resort or explore anywhere else, Key to the World Travel has the Convention Center at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort full of expert travel planners. They're ready to make your vacation dreams a reality. Head to www.keytotheworldtravel.com to get started with a no-obligation quote. Word of mouth is the best way to help us grow our show. If you have a friend or two who you think would appreciate our special brand of globe-trotting jackassery, tell them what makes our show so great. And send them right away. You can find links to subscribe to the show on your favorite apps and all the latest updates at www.keyadventures.com. We can't wait to hang out with you again, and we'll see you real soon.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
To ask a question or share your travel story, you can reach us by smoke signal, carrier pigeon, or send an email to goldkeyadventurers@gmail.com. And make sure you follow the Gold Key Adventures Society on Facebook and Instagram. A huge thanks to our sponsor, Key to the World Travel. For all your travel planning needs, visit www.keytotheworldtravel.com for a free quote and help planning the trip of a lifetime. Tell them the Gold Key Adventurers sent you. That's www.keytotheworldtravel.com. Key to the World Travel, your key to a magical vacation. Thanks to Outer Vibe for the use of their song Hoka Hey for the intro and outro of our show. Find them on Facebook at The Outer Vibe, or check out www.outervibe.com for tour dates, music, merch, and more. We'll see you next week for another meeting of the Gold Key Adventurers Society. And until then, remember, life is short and the world is wide. So go have an adventure.